To make your plyometric training more specific to the events you're training for, one important consideration is to look at the ground contact time. In the long jump, ground contact times for elite men and women in the takeoff phase are approximately 0.12 to 0.13 seconds. In the triple jump, the athlete tries to hold speed throughout each contact, but they spend a little more time on the ground with each phase as they lose some horizontal velocity with each phase. The length of the ground contact time at the board is about 0.11 to 0.12 seconds, and then 0.13 to 0.14 for the step takeoff, and around 0.14 to 0.16 for the jump takeoff. Each phase is also slightly more vertical. High jumpers have ground contact times around 0.15 to 0.20 for elite men and women. There's a fair big range in this event considering the individual technique. To maximize transfer to the competitive event, pick plyometrics that replicate the ground contact times we see in the event. This is a force velocity curve. It shows that at slow speeds we can apply great forces, but as the speed increases, we aren't able to apply as much force. So in high speed events, ground contact time is less and we have less time to apply force. Think of the left side of the graph as doing a 1 rep maximum in the bench press. We can apply a lot of force and time isn't a factor at all. Imagine this graph here has two athletes, the one in black and the one in red. The one in red is an athlete who can apply force quicker and at higher velocities. So this athlete in red is probably going to jump further or run faster at each of these higher velocities. It's possible that improvements in maximum strength and power at slower speeds could have no effect on events where we have to apply speed at a fast rate. That's because we simply don't have enough time to apply the force.
We can alter the ground contact time to be more specific to your event by using 2-foot ground contacts. Landing on 2 feet can shorten the ground contact time significantly. For instance, for a female jumper that I looked at, a single leg drop off a 6-inch box was about 0.18 to 0.17 seconds, but a double leg hop from the same height was 0.12 to 0.14. We can use double leg contacts to create a faster ground contact, but there's a trade-off in specificity because there's not many activities where we take off of both legs. As a coach, you need to determine whether the trade-off is worth it, meaning double leg and losing to specificity versus the ground contact time being faster. This is an exercise used by sprinters and hurdlers that was popularized by Franz Bosch and Gary Winkler. In this exercise, the impact is on 2 legs, but one leg is exerting its force in a shorter period of time with a shorter amortization phase. The leg on the ground that's longer is around 0.19, and while the other leg is on the ground for just 0.07. So the tapping leg is used with a shorter stretch reflex and a quicker amortization phase, while the other leg takes up some of the impact. It's essentially a reduced load plyometrics on the tapping leg created with a very short amortization phase. Another advantage of this exercise is it reinforces the inverse extensor reflex, where the leg that is flexing at the hip and the knee quickly helps increase the force, extending the opposite leg. This is an important action in sprinting and hurdling, especially the hurdle takeoff. When doing bounding type activities, an approach will shorten the ground contact time significantly and bring it closer to event velocities. From a stationary start, the ground contacts in this video are about 0.23 to 0.20. When we use a 6 to 8 step run-in, it drops to 0.14 to 0.18, so much closer to event speeds. A towing device like the 1080 Sprint or the Dynaspeed can help shorten ground contact times and make them similar or maybe even faster to the competitive event. One thing to consider, however, is that fatigue can lengthen the ground contact time too. So if you use a run-in with extended bounds in the 25 meter plus area, and some people do it all the way up to 100 meters, the ground contact time will increase as the athlete gets fatigued and could take it way out of their range. In more vertical plyometrics, the higher the box or the hurdle, the longer the ground contact time. But through plyometrics, we can achieve higher forces and muscle tensions than anything we can do in the weight room. So with higher jumps, there's greater potential for improving strength. There's an increased strength effect with drop height, but the increased ground contact times can make it less specific as well. Now, once they are prepared for it through lower intensity plyometrics, athletes might use higher plyometrics to improve strength. Then later in the season, as they're getting close to the competitive phase, use lower hurdles or lower boxes with the goal of getting the shortest ground contact time as possible without sacrificing technique. Putting hurdles or boxes further apart or just jumping further will also increase the ground contact time, as the athletes need more time to apply force. Changing the plyometrics in this way also makes the forces more horizontal, which is another consideration as far as specificity goes. Higher volumes of plyometrics with short or medium ground contact times with lower intensity can be used in the preparation phase to build capacity to train for higher intensity jumps. They can also be used as an environment to teach jump mechanics. A great exercise created by Dan Paff of Altus and a longtime collegiate and international coach is his Rudiment series to help teach the correct yielding skills of the joints. They are a tool to teach how to yield in the hip, knee, and ankle joints in the correct sequence and timing. This is extremely valuable in preserving health and technique for higher intensity plyometrics and the ability to change direction. Contact should be done on the full surface of the foot. It should be quiet, and there should be an even flexing in the hips, knee, and ankle joints on the landing.
Are you a devoted track and field coach looking to improve your coaching skills and knowledge? Someone to bounce ideas off of and help you develop your eye? Do you feel you could serve your athletes better with a deeper understanding of your events? Or would you like to make a greater impact on your athletes by becoming an expert in another event? I have 20 years of successful experience at the NCAA Division I and international levels in the sprints, jumps, hurdles, and the throwing events. Athletes I've worked with have shown huge improvements in their performance over time, and I'd like to help you shortcut many years of trial and error, finding your way through the noise and identifying the most important things to help you help your athletes. I offer two different types of programs. One is a consultant role, where we meet regularly online to discuss your training and technique of your athletes and help problem solve together. You'll share videos of your athletes, and we'll discuss how to help them develop and make fast progress. You'll have texting access to me as you need, and consulting is confidential, so you'll get all the credit. Another program is a deep dive into one event. So you focus on one event, we'll examine elite performers and to see what they do that makes them successful and what they have in common. I'll point you to the best resources and help you sift through all the noise to find the best information. You'll get one-on-one coaching to focus on where you can improve your coaching eye or your training methods. And you'll learn cause and effect to help identify what causes the errors that you notice, because they're almost always caused by something that you didn't see earlier in the event. You'll share video of your athletes, and we'll discuss how to help them develop and watch them as they progress. You'll get texting access as needed as well. If you'd like to hear more about my mentoring and consulting programs, please send me a message on Instagram or send an email to gpsmith2051@gmail.com.